Hello, welcome to today's live stream, day 7 of my 30-day challenge to go live every day. Um, Today, again, I'm doing it on Facebook. My name is Sabrina Doherty. I want to talk about ways to improve your English. Today, I want to talk a little bit for a few minutes about how to improve your speaking in English. Speaking is usually the most important area that people need to improve and also the most difficult for people, speaking and listening. But speaking is the most difficult thing to improve, usually for lack of opportunity. Listening you can do by yourself, listen to blogs, watch TV, and listen to podcasts, all of those things. Speaking is harder, especially if you don't live, obviously, in an English-speaking country. It's even more difficult. So what ways can you try to get to speak, to practice your speaking? The first way that most people do this is by going to class. And this can be really useful, but it needs to be a class, an English class, where you have the opportunity to speak. If you're in a class with 25 other people, you're not going to have the opportunity to speak, or very little, maybe in pairs with other students. If you're in a class with 4 or 5 maximum, you should hopefully have that opportunity. You should be careful how you choose your class. Ask for a trial class first. If you do choose to go to classes, try to make sure that it's a class where all of the homework, the writing and the reading and things like that are for homework. In our classes, for example, the classes are speaking. The student is speaking all the time because usually it's their only opportunity to do that. They can do the listening, the writing, the reading, all of that at home. So you need to try to be sure that your classes are speaking classes. Obviously, the best scenario is that you have a one-to-one class or a two-to-one class, just you and the teacher, or you and one other student and the teacher. And this is ideal because then you can be sure that you're getting the most speaking practice. But obviously, this makes it more expensive as well. So for some people where this just isn't an option to have this type of class, that you have other options. For example, you can go to an exchange website like Tus Clases Particulares here in Spain, and you can find a partner to speak with. For example, someone who wants to practice their English, or someone who wants to practice their language, like Spanish, for example, and you want to practice your English. So you could, for example, have a 1 hour session online where you speak English for 30 minutes and they speak your language for 30 minutes. So something like this can be really useful for meeting people, getting to know other cultures, and for practicing your speaking, obviously. So we know this because we used this when we first moved to Spain. So it's a really good website for finding teachers and also for finding someone to exchange language with. Okay. Another thing you could do is join a group such as Meetup. Meetup is a group online that I think they're pretty much worldwide, that you can find activities in your local area for all types of sports or different interests. And a lot of people have language exchanges on that. So maybe some people want to practice speaking English, or indeed you could set up a group to practice speaking English. It doesn't have to be with native speakers. It just needs to be with people who want to practice, and then you can speak. Um, One thing not to worry about is that you're speaking perfect English. I've been teaching for 10 years and I don't think I've met one person who speaks English perfectly. I don't speak English perfectly often. So, I mean, this shouldn't be your goal at the moment anyway, to speak English perfectly. Your goal should be to speak fluently, to be able to express yourself, to say what you want to say, even if you can't find all the vocabulary, that you can say things in another way, you know? This should be your goal. And to improve your confidence when you're speaking, and to obviously understand the other person when they speak to you. Speaking perfectly is a great goal, and speaking very well is a great goal, but just one thing at a time. The first thing to do is speak fluently, you know. So be easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's more important to speak fluently with mistakes than to have great grammar and not be able to speak, no. So just be careful with that. If you don't have any of these opportunities, you can't go to class, you can't find an intercambio or an language exchange. Another idea is to read out loud, read aloud. Sounds crazy, but if you're reading, you could read in aloud. You could read aloud. I'm thinking in Spanish. You could read aloud, and this way you're practicing your pronunciation. You're practicing the sound of new words. You're practicing your voice. You're finding your voice. You're finding confidence in speaking. So yeah, I mean, if you do this, you are improving your speaking. So might sound crazy. No one needs to know you're doing it, but it's a good idea. And also singing. Singing songs in English is another way to practice your voice. Find your voice. Be confident in speaking, you know. So those are some ideas to improve your speaking. I hope they're helpful. Um, Remember too that listening is good for speaking because you're hearing how the words are pronounced, you're learning new vocabulary, and it's giving you that bit of extra confidence as well. So I'm going to leave a few links in the comments below of our online courses that help you make a plan to improve your English and to help you with telephoning, managing the telephone in English. And also, if you want to receive a weekly email with free resources to help you improve your English as well and some ideas. So that's tip 7. See you tomorrow for tip 8.